Oh, hey, Gabe, how you doing? I think you're muted. You've been...
I was muted during the intro.
Yeah.
Boomer.
It looked awesome, though, and I'm so glad it was
I just
not
told
me
you
because
guys all the secrets about mainstream comics, Marvel
That's
and
right.
DC. I spilled all the beans just now.
That's right.
Come on, you're not going to get boomer comedy like that anywhere else.
No, I mean I did it the
That
other
was
night.
an amazing intro, by the way. Oh my god!
I know it looked amazing.
When I did my channel before, like I took it down like a year ago because I quit doing my channel.
Yeah.
I did that about 3 or 4 times, and I forgot when I play that intro video, it mutes me automatically. So that's hey, come on! I started off with the laugh there, so that's some good.
No, I love it, man. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So let me just quickly reintroduce you. I'm Gabe El-Taib, obviously, and this is Shanth Enjeti. I've been calling him Shanth, and then he told me it was
Sounds spelled right.
No, it's all right. Everyone says El-Tab, and it's El-Taib. And is it Enjeti?
Enjeti, you got it.
Okay. And what is that? Where is that from? That name?
Let's see. That is an Indian name that everybody I meet who's Indian goes, "That's not an Indian name."
Okay. I told my wife it had to be either Indian or Pakistani. I knew it was one of
absolutely.
Okay. And is Shanth the full name, or has you got a longer name?
That's the full name. Yeah, okay. and it's so funny. You know, your name is so much easier. I'm 45, and in those years, I've never met another Shanth. So it's really? Like the weirdest.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think I am the only Gabriel El-Taib on Earth.
Right.
The real name is Ataib, you know.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
When my dad went through the French consulate or whatever, come to America, they Frenchified it, so it's El-Taib is the French version of Atib. So,
oh wow,
in Arabic it would be Jabril Abdulati Atib. So it's Gabriel Abdulati El-Taib.
Nice.
So, but we're here to talk NOSFERO, which I'm very excited about. Let me share this up here real quick. Share screen. I went and grabbed some of the artwork from your Indiegogo, and the link is in the description, guys. But we'll get to shilling later. I want to get to know you a little bit, Shanth.
Sure.
But so where? Let me ask you, what part of the country are you in? You're back east, or?
Yes, I'm back east. I live in Rhode Island. I've lived here since I came off to college, so I've been here for. Oh, sorry. I've been here for 20-something years, and actually, what am I saying? I've been here for longer than that. Since I've been here since 1994 when I came off to college. So, but I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So I've kind of bounced around a lot of different places, and I was born in Houston, Texas. So,
oh wow, I just went through Texas basically for the first time ever. I went out to Orlando to Disney World for my wedding anniversary.
Yeah, that's right. And,
because of all the plane cancellations, we decided to drive. So I'm in San Diego. I'm at the coast here. Like I live, like you can smell the ocean from my house.
Oh, that's awesome.
All the way to the Atlantic Ocean, and America is humongous.
When I flew out to California, one of the first times I flew out was I got my first taste of a West Coast diss, which I thought was great. This guy talked to me and he goes, "Where are you flying from?" I think we start off in Chicago. And I go, "Rhode Island." He goes, "You flying out here to see a real ocean?"
Ooh. I love ocean trash talk. Ocean smack.
That was awesome.
The best smack there is.
I was like, respect.
So Steven De La Vega asked, and I don't know who he's asking, what's your favorite band? Well, what's yours, Shanth? You're the guest. What's your favorite band?
Oh, boy. My favorite band is Oasis.
Oh, wow. Today's going to be the day.
That's right. Yeah,
okay.
Today, I'm a massive, I don't know what to say. It is what it is. But I've been a fan of theirs since I was in college. And I always tell people that I was into Alice in Chains. Before that, I was a major Alice in Chains fan. And then I guess that music, Oasis, just hit me at a time when I was, ready to hear, I don't know, just the stuff they were singing about getting out of a small town and that kind of thing just hit me at the right moment. So I've been a fan of theirs ever since.
Very cool. Very cool. My favorite musician, I think, is Phil Collins.
There you go.
I love Phil Collins. I love that 80s rock ballads and all that. I love Genesis with Phil Collins. Obviously, Invisible Touch is an album I play all the time. And No Jacket Required by Phil Collins from, I think, 86 or 87.
Yeah.
So, that's music for me. So you're from Texas, grew up in Chattanooga, and then you went out. Did you go to RISD or did you teach?
Yes, I went off to RISD when I was about 17 years old, met my wife there.
Oh, wow.
And we've been married for this is our 22nd year.
Oh,
so I think you've got me beat by a couple of years, I think.
Yeah, I'm a little younger, but I am Mexican, so I had kids way earlier than you. So,
well, your oldest is how old?
My daughter's 24. She'll be 20. You can
24.
always
That's right.
tell how old she is because
Mhm.
you just take my wedding anniversary and you minus off a few months.
There you go. That's right. See, mine are 16. So I've got twins who are 16. So you're ahead of me on that. You have much knowledge about the future.
Boys or girls or both?
One boy, one girl.
Oh wow, me too. I have the older daughter and the younger brother. So
Oh, nice.
wow, what a time
Excellent.
when they're 16. Do they have their license yet? Are you afraid of them driving?
We're doing the driving
Oh, my
learning stuff.
son,
Yeah.
he told me when he was doing driver's ed, the poor guy that was his teacher was like going through a divorce, and
Oh
he
my
was just
God.
spilling his guts to my son, like all this heartbreak. And my son's like 15 and like just didn't know what to say. And like he told me it was
Trapped in
just
that
like
car.
the most awkward week with this gentleman just learning to drive.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So for those that don't know in the audience, you want to quickly explain what RISD is? Because I know what it is, but maybe people don't know what RISD
Oh,
is.
sure. Yeah. It's the most expensive art college in the country.
I like how you don't say it's the most prestigious or the highest quality. It's the most.
Well, listen. Okay. Yeah. I mean, how do I word this? It is it's a college. It's a college right now. Most colleges in the United States are kind of not what they were probably when we were, college age. And I think it's when I went there, everybody has their experience at college, but when I went there, it was a lot more, and not by much, but it was a lot more of a reasonable place to go. I went to school with a lot of really great great students who went on to do some amazing things, and I worked really hard, with the artwork. But it's tough to say. I went off to art school because, honestly, I didn't. I wanted to be a comic book artist. I was passionate about comics, and it was one of the only two colleges I applied to, and I ended up going there. And the thing I'll say about RISD is I met the love of my life there, and that was like the best thing in the world about that place to me.
Very cool. Very cool. So you said you wanted to be a comic book artist. Do you want to go a little bit back on the origin? And I'm going to throw your art
Sure,
up when
yeah.
you tell this. Kind of tell us what was the comic that did it? Was X-Men #1 for me by Jim Lee, but what was it
That's
for
a good
you
one.
that did it? What blew your brain out and told Shanth that I got to be an illustrator? What did it for you?
There's the couple, right? There's the one that was the first comic you fell in love with. There's well, for me anyway, there's the comic I fell in love with which was the first publications. That was actually the name of the publishing house, the collected, colorized original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that my friend Zachary Hartford Cullis, who was my comic buddy at that age, brought to school, and I thought it was awesome.
Are you talking about those graphic novels?
Yeah, those early ones. Remember where they went and took the black and whites and colored them, and you could still see the screen tone?
There were like 4 graphic novels, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. And then ones had the fold out. Remember that one, the fourth book?
I got those in, I think, 1990 when the movie came out at Costco. It was called Price Club at the time. The company was not called Costco. I got it at the San Diego Price Club in 1990 when I was 12.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a town,
that did it for you, those books?
Well, here's the crazy thing is that the book that got me to want to go to a comic book shop was I saw the painted covers, which is so weird that I turned out to do painting in my 20s and 30s.
Correction.
Was the Mike Zeck. Oh, thank you so much. The Mike Zeck Punisher limited series, which I was a huge fan of that. And then the one that made me want to be a comic book artist that I still have a signed a poster of is Hulk 340, Hulk versus Wolverine, Todd McFarlane, Peter David. But McFarlane's artwork was everything to me when I was a teenager.
Right. I mean, it was just the energy in the 90s. It was just something else. People make fun of Rob Liefeld and he doesn't draw feet and all these. It doesn't matter. There's an undeniable energy there. It doesn't matter if the anatomy is weird. It's just filled with electricity.
Those people. It's funny too. So I met Todd McFarlane at a convention when Spider-Man #1 came out, and I was like number 3 billion in line. And I was in a small town. These comic people were so far from me, I could never be one of those people. And I was at this convention and I remember meeting Todd McFarlane and he said, I said, can you sign my poster for me? And I was nervous. I must've been shaking like a leaf. And he's like, what's your name? And I went, it's Shanth. And before I could stop him, he started writing on the poster. And I went, there's no, that's a poster down the drain. And he flipped the poster around. Now I do not, sometimes, miracles can happen. He spelled my name correctly.
Really?
I have no idea how that was possible.
Well, I
But
have heard he's a brilliant guy, and he was like valedictorian of his high school. I don't know if that's true, but I've heard he's actually very smart. And you know a tree by its fruit in life. Look at his life. Look at
absolutely.
all the success. He must be a brilliant dude.
He's
So
and he was so good to us. He looked over at me and my friend Zach and was like, we're taking a picture, and he goes, "Hey, hey guys, put bunny ears on me, and I'll pretend like I don't notice." So there's this photo of me standing behind, and Zach standing behind Todd McFarlane, like in shock, with our hands like this, like we were so like starstruck. But it was beautiful. I mean, it was a beautiful moment, you know.
very
It
cool.
was, and so I just basically, whenever I was doing comics and at conventions, my attitude was always I tried to treat people, and when I was teaching too, I try to teach people from the standpoint of how well Todd, treated me that day and pay it forward because he made me feel like it was possible that, I could be this. Comics is a very American art form in the way that we understand it and we see it. I understand, I love manga. I love bande dessinée. I think it's all beautiful and it's all inspiring. But
Hmm.
to have this person who was responsible for this American art form on such a high level write my name was like one of those life changing. I don't know. It's silly or whatever, but those are the things that really affect you. I think in those formative years, and it changed my life.
I agree completely. Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, he
Mm-hmm.
talks
Yep.
about this concept of there's no such thing as a small act of kindness. When he was like
True.
I don't know, he did like analytical stuff for banks and
Oh
AT&T and
wow.
T and different things before Dilbert made it. And he was submitting different comics and this and that. And I don't know the details, but somehow his amateur comics got in front of a real comic guy. I don't know if
Wow.
it wasn't the Garfield guy or I don't know who it was,
Yeah.
but it got in front of someone and they wrote him back like weeks or months later when he was kind of at a point in life where he was going to give up on it. And
Yeah.
the letter said, "Hey, you know what? These are pretty good. You're pretty funny. You should keep at it." And that like changed everything for him and made him want to keep pursuing it. And he just said to himself, if it wasn't for that small act of kindness by a man
Yep.
I didn't even know, just
Mm-hmm.
encouraging me a little bit, like what would have happened? I would have just been working in an office for 50 years and then just retired and eventually died, and there'd be no Dilbert. There'd be nothing like that. So I think what you're saying about Todd just being kind to you like that. I remember when I
That's
was 12.
huge.
Yeah, the same thing for me. When I was 12 years old, I went to Artifacts in Poway, California, which is just
Mhm.
San Diego. And Jim Lee and Bart Sears were there signing
Wow.
the Hardcore and Turok from Valiant. This is like
Oh,
1992.
yeah.
I got there at like 6 in the morning and I was still like eighth in line. And
Mm-hmm.
I was 12 years old and I brought like a drawing of Turok or something like that with me. And I showed it to Jim Lee, who was my favorite artist the moment I saw his work
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
12 or 13 years old. I showed it to Jim Lee and Bart Sears when I finally got to the front of the line. I said, "Do you think I could be a comic book artist?" And Bart Sears told me, "Yeah, I think so. There's this Kubert school if you want to go to that when you grow up." And just little stuff like that. And it really made it, oh, these are normal men that draw this. They're not like magical beings. And like, it looks like he could be my uncle or something. He's just like a guy. And them just encouraging you very casually was, I think, everything. And if
Yeah.
you'll
Yeah.
indulge me, I've had a table at San Diego Comic-Con for like 14, 15 years. And there was a kid that started coming up to me when he was about 12, a little blonde
Mhm.
boy.
Yeah.
And he's 28 now or 27 now.
Wow.
And he messaged me on Instagram and he had a screenshot of The Simpsons. And he's like an animator or designer now. But he
Oh
would
my
come to
God.
my table every year at San Diego Comic Con, show me his drawings, and they were crappy at first, but I would always encourage him. Say stick, and I was so proud that he would come and find me in Artist Alley every year, and now he's helping make The Simpsons. And I was just like, wow, that's really heartwarming to see. So
Yeah. I mean,
I love your McFarlane story, and I love your impersonation. I heard you doing a little McFarlane there.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was. I'll tell you this too. I'm one of those people that I remember. Everybody who's ever helped me.
Okay.
I just remember, those acts of kindness are just huge. But it's when I think about my love of comics, I mean, I remember meeting Dave Stevens at the San Diego Comic
Oh,
Con, and he was super nice to me. Signed a little card to Shanth, good luck. And I have to say, I think almost all of the people who were heroes of mine, artist heroes of mine that I met, I was fortunate that they were all really kind, really nice to me, and it's a community that I really love. And it was funny because things have kind of come full circle to be here. My first pro job I did when I was 17 for a small publisher. It was in 1994 or 93, I think.
wow.
And the person who did the cover art on my first pro job was Andy Smith.
Really?
So of all the crazy, so cut to now, And Andy was when they were just starting up CG Kings. I sent him a chat, when he was doing his show, and I was like, hey, listen, if you want help setting up your audio, we could do a StreamYard to do that. So I'm helping this guy that I was such a huge fan of, who did the cover art on my first pro job, set up, a microphone, or come up with a microphone setup. And he's just been really good to me. He sent me some comics after that. And so we've been, if anybody hasn't checked out First Man 2, Learning Curve, or First Man, the first one, it's so worth a look. So I love superheroes, all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to have Andy on, I believe, tomorrow. I got to check my Twitter DMs, but I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
yeah.
I'm going to promote First Man, because that book is underfunded and it needs more funding. It's a good book. Andy is such a great draftsman. I think he's a classic superhero artist in that tradition of your Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, your Buscema. He just does classic, awesome superheroes. He was made to do that kind of stuff, Justice League, all that kind of stuff.
Those guys are so amazing.
Right, yeah. Let me check on the chat really quick here. Zaid Comics says, my God, that's amazing. I think he's talking about Andy Smith. Oh, yeah. That's our buddy Phil Diaz, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's his character. Comics. That's right. Yep, on the screen. That's the painting I started on a live stream. I might be painting more on a live stream tonight. But
is that what this is? I watched you.
Yeah. That was that's. I'm so glad to hear that.
Remember, I was chatting with you last night. We were talking about boxing and Trevor Burbank.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Love
it was
boxing.
late at night. Yeah. So we'll get to that. We'll get to Van Damme and martial arts and all that.
Hell yeah.
But hold on. You were saying, what you guys don't know that Shanth does that's so great is he knows how to do video editing really well. And I want to share this because it made me laugh. For those of you that watch like Comicsgate Kings, when Ethan introduces us onto the show, he has a little like video clip for us. And Shanth I just mentioned it to him once, like a month ago. And out of the kindness of his heart, he made it for me. And he knows I'm a huge Van Damme fan, and we'll talk about Van Damme because we have to talk about it. But check this out. This is amazing. Let me go find it really quick. So this is my intro on Comicsgate Kings.
Triple the electricity. Triple the elegance. Triple tight.
Would never in my life wear black silk underwear. I'm with you on that one.
Triple threat.
That is too perfect.
Those intros. So here's the funny thing about, like, listen, you actually know Ethan. I know Ethan via email, and we've chatted. I mean, It's not like he's a complete stranger, like via messaging back and forth. But how I got in touch with Ethan the first time was my wife and I were both appalled at what went down with him and how he was treated. Which tended to be something that kind of went on, frankly, every time he was backstabbed by somebody new. But it was one of those things to where we were so appalled. I hated Last Jedi. I was like, this guy's a comic artist, and this guy is so passionate, and he's got this family, and blah blah. So I sent him a message after he'd done his stream, and he said, and I bet you'll find this as funny as I did, but I got where he was coming from. He goes, "Are people, when they read this stuff online, are people going to just think, are there people who are going to be fans of mine who think I'm racist and they won't be my fan because they think I wouldn't like them?" So I sent him this message of me and my family and kids, which I don't usually do. And I said, look, we're intelligent. We know you're not. And we sort of, we just started sending messages, and I started doing these intros. And when it came time, like the first time you came on that show and you had the Van Damme backdrop, you got to understand, man, I had, if you had a poster on the wall that was like 10 feet behind you, I had a poster of Double Impact that was that large, an unfolding, one of the European ones they would paste up.
I got something to show you.
Oh, hell yeah.
Keep going, though. I'm going to show you something.
So I was like going, this guy, I was thinking on your intro, it's like when I came up with Let Your Tiger Out, that song for Shane, or any of the intros I've done for Comicsgate Kings. I go, I've got to do Double Impact. So when you told me Double Impact was your favorite movie or two as well for Van Damme, I was like, my God, this is meant to be.
Right. No, I'm serious about this stuff. My comic that I'm doing, and we're here to promote yours, is Beef Raw.
Yeah.
It's a Van Damme Seagal movie. Let me show you something my wife bought me for a gift for
oh my God. Yeah.
It's right over here. From another wall in my office. Hold on. I'm over here. Hold on, I'm coming.
Good evening, Aldous on the farm, just off Orwell Lane. It's good to see you, brother. I was looking at your intro, so everybody in the chat, hello. Good to see you guys.
I'm married to the greatest woman on earth. This is an original from Japan. Nico.
Oh my gosh.
Let me try and get the light off of it.
I can see it. It's beautiful.
Hold on, let me look at how good that is.
That's a beautiful work. My God, that's so pulp and fantastic.
Yeah, the movie was called Nico instead of
Hard to Kill.
Above the Law, right?
Above the Law. That's right. God, the first
Right.
one. That's right. Above the Law.
Yeah,
Then Hard
so
to Kill second.
I am a serious Van Damme and Steven. I'm trying to get that shine off of his face, but I'm a serious Van Damme Steven Seagal fan.
And you
Steven
can take
Seagal's
that
movies-
to the bank. No.
Right. Steven
See, I'm hardcore, man. You don't understand. Like,
we have to go like this. You can take that to the bank.
yeah.
You know, he has that real breathy voice that he
And
does.
the shotgun to the teeth.
Right.
That was some serious
His
stuff.
first 5 movies are great.
Yeah.
The 73 after the first 5 are trash. We all know that. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and the thing about it is that, you know, when I started doing stuff for Comicsgate and was doing things, you were probably almost in some ways probably around the same time, if not after you were doing it, 2018-ish. You know, I know you were doing coloring and stuff like that. It was really about trying to bring that sense of fun that I was experiencing every time I tuned into those streams. Do you know what I mean? Because we're here ultimately to sell comic books, have a great time. A lot of us have families to support, and we want to bring some positive stuff into this world. So to me, when I'm making art and I'm meeting, it's a real blessing to meet people who are passionate about all of the things we love, you know. And just looking at the chat, Scottsley's in here. Look at all these people who are here coming by to check everything out. Stephen Rockwood drawing, good to see you. Bobby Campbell, good to see you. I'm always going to pronounce this wrong. I'm sorry. Is it Torvaldsen? Is that how I pronounce it? I always get that wrong when I try to pronounce it.
I would say Torvaldsen. Looks like it's
Torvaldsen. And Zaid Comics. Phil's in here. So good to see you guys.
Oh,
and
hey,
I mean, it's
Shanth. There's a question in the chat. I just want to address
please.
it really quick.
Yeah.
Stephen Rockwood drawing says, Gabe, I've been checking out your Instagram. When is Beef Law happening and what is it about? Shanth, it's your show. We want to promote NOSFERO. Do you mind if I take a minute to answer this?
Yes, please. Of course, answer it. Yeah. We're here for that.
Stephen, Beef Law is a 1994 Van Damme action movie that I've come up with. You got 2 twin brothers. They escaped, their family escaped communist Russia when the wall fell. They live in Hong Kong now with their mom and dad. They're adults, so they're in their 20s. You have Maximilian and Alexander Volkov. They're very Russian. And the family has a butcher shop and this and that's where the beef comes in. But the dad has old Russian friends that are also in Hong Kong, and they're mobsters. They're Russian mobsters working with the Chinese mob. The dad borrows a bunch of money, gets in big trouble with the mafia, finds out some really high stakes bad stuff with the CIA and the mob and all that. And they start coming after the mom and the dad and the family. So these twin brothers that are both like kickboxers and stuff, they have to defend their family. The one brother doesn't talk to his mom and dad. He's just been an underground kickboxer and all that, and he hates the family. And he has to have his character arc where he comes around and sacrifices for his family. The other brother is going to law school and blah, blah, blah. The training montage, everything you love about the 90s and jump kicks. And it's happening. I'm illustrating it right now. I'm working on a giant double-page spread tomorrow. Let me see if I can throw here it is, actually.
Oh, thank you, Scottsley. Yeah, it's great to be here with Gabe. It really is.
No, we just love comics and adventure here. That's all we're about.
Darn right.
Crazy. I don't know if you can see this because I'm drawing in blue pencil, so I don't have to erase it when I ink.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
There's a knockout. It's going away because the green screen. It's getting killed. But that's a giant 2-page spread that I'm drawing on 18 by 24 paper.
Oh my gosh, old school.
Yeah, I don't want to take.
That's like Wally Wood level there.
Yeah, I have the Wally Wood IDW book, but I could show a finished page of Beef Law that I've already shown off a bunch.
Yeah, let's check it out.
I hate to keep re-showing this one, but the page 2-3 spread is coming. So Beef Law is coming. I think it'll be a book in the spring. Let's see. Share. Sorry, we'll move this out of the way. Then we'll share the screen, and then we'll get back to talking about some. Add to stream. Okay, there we go. That's the first page of Beef Law. So that's Max Volkov, the older brother, who hasn't spoken to his mom and dad in quite a while. He's very bitter about some things, and he just makes money doing illegal underground fights. And his twin brother, Alexander, who's going to law school at night and all that and working at the family butcher shop during the day, he finds out about the mafia roughing up the family and all that. And he goes to this older brother like, please, you got to help the family. He's like, I don't talk to dad anymore. So it has big family drama and stuff like that. And the 2 brothers have to go and kick the shit out of Chinese and Russian mafia. And it's just, you're going to have guys in Uzis that can't shoot anyone, just like all great 90s movies, you know, just emptying the clip and missing the heroes. So I'm very excited about this.
It's going to be, and this is the thing too, right? Since we're talking about work, the thing I wanted to also say to people is, and I will be streaming this stuff later, but what the coolest thing about Comicsgate is, and I just got off the stream with John, and I just realized that I think the next backer, let me just double check this. The next backer on NOSFERO, we're at 11,975.
Nice.
So we'll see if we can. We won't look at it, but we'll see if we can kick that over by the end of this stream with one more backer.
One more backer. Well, I'm going to lead
the
by example, Shanth, and I have a dirty secret to admit. I haven't backed
no.
you yet. And I'm going to back you live on the air. So everyone's
my
gonna
God.
see it. Let's see. What do I want here? Do I want 2 signed books, comic book, and a head sketch? What do I want? Do I want the head? I think I want the head sketch. What will you sketch for me? Anything I
so
want?
which one is it? Is it the pen and ink one, or
It
the
says
watercolor?
comic book and head sketch. Let me click on this. NOSFERO, the Crypt Walker, signed by Shanth Enjeti, and a small head sketch in pen on the signature
I'll
page.
sketch whatever you want.
Okay. All right.
You know me. We'll get it
I'm
done.
going to get this perk then. I'm doing it right now, guys.
Oh my God, excellent.
But if you want to hear about the book before you make a purchase, we'll talk about the book right next. So
Absolutely.
Let me proceed to checkout. And let me go here. Got my address on there. Not going to dox myself.
Yeah, do not dox yourself.
I'm not going to add a tip. Sorry, bro.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I feel kind of weird about that. I'm like, is there some kind of expectation with that tip, right? I don't know what that's about. And it's so crazy because we'll go over, I'm sure, all the other stuff with the campaign, but I just have to say this. I had a funny experience with Phil Diaz today where I was trying to back his book, but I couldn't see because of the graphic design that you could get books 1 and 2 with the featured tier because my vision, like I didn't have my glasses on. So the 1 was over this borderline. But, I've been so inspired by all the different people in CG doing work. So, yeah, check out Lost Pages 2 if you haven't backed it. I know we're here to talk about my book, but, guys, I've been in this community now since 2018, backing books and doing video stuff and in the comment section. To be doing my first book here and all the great, amazing people I've met, I can't help but be excited about everybody's work. I was just on with Mandy Summers on John's show. John has been so huge for everybody and the courage to start all this stuff. So it's amazing. It's great to be around friends and peers who are passionate about art and pulp and all of that stuff. It's just so great. Oh, you're welcome, Phil. My God. My pleasure.
Yeah. One thing I really love about being CG is just the respect people have for working hard and achieving things around here. I feel like in the mainstream, when I was there was a lot of, and you probably saw this to the nth degree at RISD. I went to the University of Northern Colorado, and what I noticed right away is that many of the art students, they don't love art. They love being a star and being worshipped.
Yes.
That's why they're in it. And like, dude, I've been drawn since I was 3, and there was no audience when I was 3. I just God put it in me that I have to make art. I love art so much.
I love it so much.
Forget the business, forget the money. And that's just a reality. We need to make the money so we can keep making it, but I just love art anyway.
I'm not saying that I was
just
off,
everything.
But,
go ahead.
But I just got to say, hey, Reagan Lodge, I see you in the chat there. It's good to see you, my friend.
Reagan is a real one. If you don't know Reagan is a great guy, and he's got a great book coming. So
yeah, he's doing some great work. So my childhood stories of drawing were this kind of like, I don't know what I'm not saying I was on the spectrum. I'm on the spectrum, but you never know. I invited people over to play in my new sandbox I had in the backyard. We had a sandbox. And I said, and they all came over. I said, are you guys good? And then I went downstairs to the basement by myself and drew for 4 hours. That's what I thought hanging out with people was. I would just sit there remember when the computer paper was connected with those holes through it that would come off the printer? I would get big stacks of that and I would just, stretch it out over the floor and draw. This is what I love. Oh my God. Jeez, I just saw it flipped. My God, guys.
We got 12,000.
Yes, thank you guys. This is amazing.
It's a little fire tonight. Little fire.
It is, yeah, absolutely. And this is the thing, when we're sharing artwork with people and we're putting this stuff out there, this community of people backing artwork. And I was telling, Michael Bancroft, another great CG guy, just a terrific dude. I was telling him, I said, it's like his skill set and the things that he brings. I'm excited for the sequel to The Lucent, Painted Death. I can't wait for that sequel when it comes out. Right. I'm excited to see what the next chapter of Graveyard Shift is going to be. Really excited, and at this point, it's getting shallow. When I see that artwork, I'm like, I just want to look at the art. But Cyberfrog, like, I cannot wait for the second issue of that because, man, that artwork is getting more and more insane over time. Right. And so it's like, I mean,
Ethan is possessed by a certain type of like artistic madness. You
is
just look at like Cyberfrog and the designs. You're like, what is he on? What is happening here? It's amazing to watch. You know,
the
it's
thing
really
about
nice.
him that I love about the drawing streams is not like I understand where he's coming from, where it's like it's not like this gets a huge audience. But what I think is really funny is he's such a great YouTuber, an entertainer, and he makes such incredible product. You forget he's also the guy doing the hardest work. Like it's not like he's overseeing the artwork. He's the guy in the ditch and he's like laying the foundation and he's like, doing the finishing, like, craft work on the house, the woodwork. It's like, good Lord.
Mike D 83. I said, what's Ethan on? He said EVS is on pies. So that's
my God.
hilarious. Speaking of hilarious comments, hey, thank you, chat. Thank you, Shanth, and everyone in Comicsgate, all the artists and especially the fans. This channel's monetized now.
Oh, excellent.
So
congratulations,
I'm going to make money
man.
on commercials, and if anyone wants to send a super chat, I'll appreciate it.
Feel free to. Yeah, absolutely, guys.
You out there could be the first super chat in the history of this channel.
That's right. Hey, thank you, Frankie. I'm like looking at the chat. Quince is in here. Bob Newfart is in here. Excellent. Good to see you guys.
Hey, Bob. I loved your comment on my video the other day, man. I hope you're doing great. Being sincere, man. So we want people to check out NOSFERO. We flipped it over to 12. I'm leading by example. I just backed you, and I want people to back. But we got to show them why. What are they going to get out of there? So I'll go through the art again. And do you want to give just the elevator pitch on what this story is? Why is this exciting and fun for them? Because we all got to admit, we just got to be honest. Money's tight for a lot of people in this, inflation stuff going on.
Yeah.
So anything people are buying, hamburger, it's a sacrifice. So why is this a great value? Because I think it is. The hand-painted art alone, even if you didn't have a story, the art itself is gorgeous. So tell me,
you know what's so funny about that though is, and I always think about this. Walt Disney launched the Disney empire that was associated with him during the Great Depression, with Steamboat Willie during the Great Depression, Snow White, and what was amazing about those books or those movies, and then what I think about when I look at my books and what I'm doing is I've done 2 Indiegogo books. These are the first 2. It's going to be the same size, glossy cover, square bound. So I've fulfilled 2 campaigns. And my attitude is that this book is aspirational. This book is about beautiful women, action story, a real heroic guy. And I can do things in this book that I know you'll appreciate that a lot of people that we talk about you can't do in comics. Right. So he's this Lovecraftian character who kind of he's sort of how do I word this? He's had a tough go. He kind of grew up essentially in a cult. He had this ritual that has permanently almost stained him with this otherworldly curse that gives him his powers. But he's trying to do the right thing, and he's trying to overcome that experience by fighting these vampires who are trying to they've bred a villain with an otherworldly Lovecraftian creature, and then they're trying to open doors to destroy everything that's good in the world. But I get to do a panel like this, which I have on my Instagram. I don't know if you can make this full screen.
Which one?
Just me, my camera.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'll get you on there. I'm a little boomer on it sometimes. I'll figure out how to get you. I'm so boomer, you don't even know. I am terrible at this. One thing I've never done is make the guest full screen, but I'm going to figure it out. Sorry.
Oh no, this is fine. I'm doing half and half. That's what I meant. I don't need to be full screen. That's too stressful. But a panel like this, where she wakes up in his lair after he rescues her, and you see him. And he is having this moment, and you notice this is kind of like the Darth Vader thing. He's got his mask off, but she's not going to see his face yet, so that's not going to happen. And she's not too tough on the eyes, by the way. And the thing that was so cool to me about doing stuff like this is I love the old Hammer horror films where Peter Cushing is Van Helsing, and he can use the cross to like burn the vampires. And I thought to myself when I've been doing this stuff, what if we bring, and I'll cover it up so we don't lose your monetization. Use my hands, a censorship thing there. But this is the half vampire, half eldritch god that they have brought into existence, who is trying to help, kind of our Darth Maul Vader villain of this story. And then there's our emperor, who's this mummy who has these wraps that kind of fade into this kind of horn-like quality, but it's made of fabric wraps, very inspired by Boris Karloff and Jack Pierce's stuff. And the thing about it is,
I gotta interrupt you. That is just gorgeous. And you're
Oh,
full
thank
screen
you,
now.
brother.
You
I
said you didn't want to
appreciate
be
it.
full screen. Too bad.
It's
I
listen,
figured it out.
you know,
There's a little
we promised
button. There's a
double
little
the
button that shows
impact,
you
right?
full screen.
So, but it's, you know, when I'm working on this stuff and I'm doing these originals, when people back at the watercolor tier, I think that we opened up 5 more, but so there's about 4 left, hopefully still for anybody interested. But I wanted to deal with things like, you know, there's these, you know, like the classic Necronomicon grimoire kind of thing that's used by these evil people to open doors. And this character right here, he's rescuing her, but she's kind of an example of a character who's pure goodness, not a naive goodness, although she's going to learn about the fact that, you know, her goodness and her quality. She realized that sometimes when you care about somebody, you're going to have to, you know, put the smack down on some vampires. But she's kind of the thing that gets him to question, you know, not just I'm fighting against evil, but what exactly am I living for? Because he's kind of got a devil may care attitude because he doesn't care. Like he's swinging for the fences because he doesn't care if he gets KO'd. And that's the thing that, you know, for me, this is what's at stake. This is the ritual they're doing. And so I love movies like Nosferatu. I love Werner Herzog's take on it too. I love Rick Baker's special effects. I'm working on a werewolf piece right now, or werewolf character that's going to be in this book. And you can kind of see
do you know the painter and illustrator Paul Bonner?
English oh my God,
guy?
Yes.
He does the best faces on wolves ever. I'm going to look some up right now if you want to keep vamping.
Don't you love art?
I love art,
man.
I'm going to be sincere with you right here. I love art as much as you can love something that isn't a human being.
Absolutely right.
I love it that much, you know.
And that's the thing. I mean, if you look behind me, you can see the Frazetta King Kong, a Frazetta statue right there, sun goddess. Wesley Snipes, a Blade figure, custom head that with the likeness. I mean, this is the stuff I grew up on. Todd McFarlane's Corner, Dave Stevens' Rocketeer. But this is the thing, guys. It's when I talk to people about buying this book, and when people back the 3 art book tier, the stuff that I do is it's as real as I can possibly be with this stuff. And it's when I make my work, it's hard to describe. That's sort of the job, isn't it? But I'll show one of my favorite pieces. This is the last painting in the book. I did a lot of kaiju and King Kong work. And this page right here is a painting I did that was inspired by my wife and our big kids. Oh, perfect format for me showing it too, by the way. Awesome. And it's King Kong inspired. So she's sleeping in the hand of this giant gorilla with this giant baby gorilla resting on her at the same time. It's life affirming. It's sexiness. It's, you know, everything that's great. It's about family, and it's all those things that I love. And when I did the second art book, I started experimenting with doing painted comic stuff. You'll appreciate this because this painting I used Deontay Wilder as a reference.
Well, let's just use. You can't say Deontay Wilder and not talk about the fight.
That was insane.
Fury. For those of you out there that are fight fans, that Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fight, my wife, my son, we all watch it. And even though Tyson Fury won, well, you guys don't know, these are the heavyweight championship of the world boxing. And Tyson Fury's a champ. He's defending the belt from Deontay Wilder, who used to be the champ. And they're both just killers. They beat the crap out of each other. And from about the 5th or 6th round on, Deontay Wilder looked drunk, but he never
was
quit.
Seriously concussed.
He never quit, and he went the distance. They took him to the hospital afterwards. I'm a huge Tyson Fury fan. He won the fight, and I went around more inspired by Deontay Wilder for the next week because that was one of the most brave things I'd ever seen in my life.
That guy moves like no other heavyweight, and that's the thing. Oh, thank you, Scottsley. I appreciate that. Oh, Stephen Rockwood's shouting out numbers. We should probably take a look at the campaign since all these guys are like shouting. Oh, that's beautiful.
Did we move? Hold on. Let me find it on here and I'll throw it back up.
Nice. Is that the artist you were just talking about? Beautiful.
This is Paul Bonner, but you showed that wolf face, and he did a lot of artwork for Warhammer 40K.
Yeah, of course.
The tabletop game. He was one of their main illustrators for a lot of their stuff.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Look at that. It looks cute and vicious at the same time. Like it looks cartoony. Paul Bonner's one of my. I have an art book of his. You can get it on Amazon. It's an amazing art book. It has like 100 or something illustrations of all Warhammer mutants and masterminds, I think, or something like that. All kinds of great stuff. But
so, I mean, I'm assuming, because you and I probably were exposed to a lot of the same stuff and a lot of same work. What I've been saying forever with artwork and with the stuff that I'm doing is I always think, you know, why aren't we like, not why aren't we, but like I need to be doing that kind of stuff in comics. I need to be doing creatures, painting brickwork, you know, creating this sort of sense of atmosphere so that when you come home from a long day, when you put your money into this book, you're getting something that you're going to be able to flip through and it's going to transport you. Like you're in a combination between, you know, a classic practical special effects monster movie, and you know, a feature animated film from the 1930s with, you know, classic pulp, beautiful Hammer horror style women, a lot of the costumes in it, the transparent nightgown of the female character, all inspired by that kind of work, like Twins of Evil and some of those movies.
I'm starting to wonder. You're 2 years older than me. I'm starting to wonder if my dad spent any time in Texas.
I'm not even kidding you, man.
Because you might
seriously
be my brother. You're talking about Hammer horror. You're talking about Van Damme.
Yeah.
Like maybe my dad was doing something over in Texas I don't know about or something like that.
Yeah, seriously, I'm telling you.
I'm kidding. I would never disrespect my father. It's a joke.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Even though you've been able to beat him up because you're bigger since you were a kid. I love that video. That was awesome.
I was at his house when I was 18. And he's 6 feet tall, but I was already 6'4" at that time. And he told me he could still take me. And I just boom, 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 just took him to the ground. And he was like, his eyes were like saucers. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And Bob's saying, am I going to go into In Demand? Yeah, absolutely. I've done that with the last campaign. After I funded and, you know, fulfilled my first one, I had that as an option. So this is the last, you know, of during the funding period. And it's been an amazing ride for us and our family. And it's, you know, I'll tell you this, like when I'm doing the work that I'm doing and I get into the detail, and this is another one for those of you guys interested in backing art books 1 and 2. I've always been, oh yeah, here's a werewolf page from that other book. I did a quick comic short story there. I don't know if that's showing.
Let me try and get you up here.
There we. Oh, nice.
No nudity.
Don't worry, everything's covered up, I believe.
Okay.
But when you're looking at this stuff, the thing to realize is whenever I print my art books, I came up with this gimmick where I will print, when I do the art books, I show you the whole artwork, the whole page of a piece I'll do. So this is one that's Franken-Kong right there. Let me see if I can rotate my dyslexia. And then on the other page, you get to see what the artwork looks like 1-to-1, just like the IDW books. Okay. So that way people who are art fans can actually see like, okay, so this is what the whole painting looks like. And this is what it'd be like if I had my nose on the page. So that's what art book 1 and 2 are. And so now that I'm working on this book, I'm just stepping everything up that I've been doing art wise. You know, you can see it with the image of the dog that is, let me see if I can grab the original since we're here and we actually are doing this live, as they say.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. So this is the original on 300-pound cold press watercolor paper. Like this is what we do, guys. This is what Comicsgate's bringing to you.
And I don't want to get too crappy on my former, and they're still my colleagues in the mainstream. Like I'm a chill dude. I don't worry about I'd be fine with anyone at Marvel and DC if they want to sit down and talk to me. But one thing about that machine, you're working for these giant multi-billion-dollar corporations, and what you realize is you're a cog, man, and we're turn and burn, and the deadlines were terrible. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I'm just going to be honest because I always try to be honest. You're not making your best art when you're working for them. Almost nobody is. And it's not a coincidence that all the best comic book illustrators, almost all, not all, many of the best comic book illustrators, they don't do a lot of issues per month or per year. Now think about why. It's because they're taking
you know what's so funny about it too is that I remember seeing this this show that I used to watch back in the day because I loved that time period called Boardwalk Empire. And I remember there was do you remember that line that Steve Buscemi said to Michael Pitt's character when he goes, he's talking to him about something and he goes, well, this is America. What's stopping you? Exactly. And one of the things that I think a lot about when we're doing our work is, guys, with your support, and this is the funny thing we were talking about that kind of thing, about working in big industries, what they can afford to pay with that massive machine behind it, you guys can match by supporting our books as individuals. You can untie our hands creatively so that we can make the best work of our career. So I'll give you a RISD story. Here's a RISD story for you. The most I ever made in a single year teaching at RISD when it was $60,000 a year was $24,000 a year with no health insurance, none of that stuff. Okay.
Terrible.
So an $11 million hallway can get built. That's what you were making, and that's what you were bringing to your family. So you're usually teaching at a bunch of different schools, all of these kinds of things, right? Now, you know this, when you're working in comics, if you're one of the top guys, you're doing well. But everybody else, it's hard to get new ideas out there. It's hard to put things out there. There's an infrastructure, and it needs to, if you want to run that type of business, those are the people who are going to be making the choices.
Right.
When you come here and you're in CG, and I walked away from that culture because I realized that all of the things about art and free expression I couldn't say or do that to me were the very things when I was going to college back in the 90s.
Right.
People would have looked at you crazy about oh, well, you can't paint that, you can't do that. These were just basic things, right?
Right. I mean, art is about truth and beauty,
and expression.
Right. And you have to tell the truth. People will pick up on phoniness. My YouTube channel used to be trash because I was muzzled by Hollywood. I couldn't really say what I thought about anything because, oh no, what if the bosses see it at whatever company? I was working for every company at the same time, but I was just worried. And I just had to have a real moment with myself and say, are you a coward? Are you afraid of some editor with purple hair who's 23 years old? Are you really really afraid of this person? Because you shouldn't be.
One of my favorite videos on my channel is something that Pete Cimetti was nice enough to let me use, which was he did a long podcast with John Malin, and I edited it down. It was John Malin basically telling his story. Mm-hmm. And John said something that I think was kind of how I think about things, which is making artwork and making these books. And I've, made and delivered several of books and many books and artwork in my career, concept design, all that kind of other stuff. So we know how to do this stuff, but it is a very difficult job. So it's not just buying a book when you back these books, not at all. It's actually backing the artist to be able to make the book. So it's a huge deal when you guys do that. It means a lot to us. It signifies a lot. But John was talking about, and he goes, how many years drawing do we have? We work for 40 years. These skills I have right here, I will take them with me. That's why a lot of us like to teach and pass down our skills. But more importantly, this is my time to make the best work of my career. And I said to myself, I could keep teaching and I'd finally worked my way up to an actual health insurance living wage, but I am going to not ever be able to do this stuff. And, when I did my first 2 books, and I'm very proud of this, I didn't declare Comicsgate because in a lot of ways, they weren't comics. And I thought that was weird. And to say that, although part of me was like that, then the other part of me was like, I want to know, because I was just spent 18 years or 15 years in this area. I want to know what my work is worth. I developed a huge fan following for my artwork that was totally outside of my job on Instagram. But this is the thing that was big for me. The reason I did my books not on Kickstarter, which was a way bigger platform back then, and I did it on Indiegogo, is because I'm Comicsgate in principle to the bone, even before I was doing comics. I was like, I'm not going to go anywhere that censors my friends. So I'm proud to say I funded my books on Indiegogo. I remember sharing the news with Ethan, he's like, who the hell is this guy? Because you shouldn't be shutting down artists of the caliber of John Malin, of the caliber of Ethan Van Sciver.
No,
we've got them for this time we have them to make their best work. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you've got these editors. They haven't put a squirt of piss in a bucket in their life. They haven't done anything. They're all failed writers. They're all failed artists. And they're just controlling the business with this. And I don't want to get overly political because I know we have fans that are left wing, and that's fine with me. But the cancel culture left wing, that part of it, not regular good Democrats, but that cancel culture, that's anathema to art. Art is about self-expression, and then cancel culture is like, you can't express yourself. Why say go fuck yourself? I'm going to express myself if I want to.
But that's just how it's going to
be. So tough.
And I hate to admit this, but I don't really at all. I was watching one of John's streams, and it was John, I think Shane and Ethan were on the stream, and they watched this funny video of somebody falling off of this ladder, going downstairs. It was totally staged, and these people's reaction to it. And I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe. And what the problem with Comicsgate that ruined my life in the best sense was that it reminded me what it was like to laugh and have fun, be silly, be creative.
Right.
We need, as like when people like, what are people getting when they get this book? Something that's not cynical, something that's about beautiful. And the thing that I learned the most from one of my favorite definitions of art was this. This guy said, and I think I even said this on Reagan Lodge's channel when I did an interview there, which is that people always get confused by, they always say, what's aesthetic mean? Well, the opposite of aesthetic, which is what the highest principle of art is anesthetic. It's anesthesia. Anesthesia puts you to sleep. Aesthetic wakes you up. It makes you feel this sense of passion and joy. And that's from doing the illustrations, scanning them in, getting the colors correct, putting the InDesign file together. We're trying to put into your hands, through all of that labor and all of that work, something that's going to bring aesthetics into your life. Something that's like that horror movie you love, that, I don't know how many times I've watched Evil Dead 2 at this point. It's probably, you should get a restraining order on me.
Right.
But politics kills all that. I tell people this too.
It does.
It's I don't know what Bruce Campbell grabbing himself by the shirt and flipping himself upside down onto the floor flat is, but it's so freaking amazing. It's like Buster Keaton meets Chainsaw Massacre. Right. And I love art so much, man.
Yeah, and I just think that I'm proud of you to walk away from the academia and all that. And I walked away from DC. You might have heard about it.
Sure, I have.
And they're just handcuffing us there. I had a little joke. I had a little joke when I worked for DC that was just for me. It was a private joke. Whenever there was a sexy drawing in Suicide Squad or whatever book I was working on, I was coloring, I would make sure to really render the boobs, really 3D, or really render the ass, just make it juicy, because I knew the editors have their marching orders, the SJW bullshit in Hollywood. I knew I'd get an email the next day to tone that down. And like clockwork, it would happen, but I would do it on purpose. I'm like, we're going to just go with some Hooters level boobs here. And I called my son into my office once, and I was rendering the boobs on this girl in Young Justice. I said, watch this. I'm going to get an email tomorrow. Sure enough, I get an email. And not only that, it was a low-cut dress in the drawing. They had the illustrator put her collar up on the dress and then had me like take out the rendering.
Oh, my God.
And it's just like, this is not – and I'm not a pervert or anything, but I did it because I knew it just bothered them. And to me, it's like, don't start none, won't be none. I didn't do it to bother you to be a prick. I did it to do it back to you, because you're being a prick to me by suffocating art, by just saying you can't do this and you can't do that. And it's just total wet blanket, total killjoy. And I don't know. I would tell her, can I say one more thing?
No, please. Yeah.
Anyone in the audience watching, if you're sad because you've been trying to get at Marvel or DC or Image or whatever, you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything. Be Comics Gate, be independent, earn it. You have to earn it. This is hard work. I'm working harder right now as CG than I was at DC 2 months ago, but it's all good. I'm a happy warrior. It's like good, joyful.
Absolutely.
We're going. Amen. My wife and I, we take exercise walks twice a day because we work at home. So we go walk and talk for like a half hour, 45 minutes. And I'm just bubbling with ideas. And I'm doing this, and I'm writing this script, and I'm writing that one. And I have so many amazing things going on. And again, you fans gave it back to me. You gave me that childhood joy of drawing that Shanth is talking about. We're making pure art because we love it. And the handcuffs, they're gone. I can just be free now. You know what they would do to Shanth about this beautiful woman here? They tell him, make her ugly. You see how they like make them draw Captain Marvel and all that with the flat chest and then like big manly shoulders and just like, it's not aesthetic. It's not beautiful. My goodness.
Well, and this is the crazy thing, right? That people don't understand. And I'm like seeing everybody in the chat. Hey, Jimmy Reyes art. We've got Phantom Power. We've got What About in here. Zaid Comics. Yeah, there you go. And Eyes of the Hydra and All This on the Farm. Look at all you guys. Phantom Harlock. Look at all these people in here. It's great to have you guys in here. Thank you.
Let's update. What were we?
I can't even remember. My head is spinning.
What were we at when this started? 12,000.
We were at 11,975.
Let's go. We're getting back.
We are. Look at you guys. You guys are awesome.
Much. What you are doing right now, you're not just buying a comic. That's what's happening on your end. You're changing Shanth's life. You understand?
Amen.
You're changing his life. Literally. You're freeing him from having to go down to that damn college and teach like critical race theory to illustration students or something that has no business being taught in an art school. Like, you are changing this man's life. Let him.
Well, you know what it is too is
he's willing to work hard and earn it. I promise you, he's willing to work hard and earn it from you.
And you know what the thing is too is that I always say this is that colleges and all of these places, there are good people I've worked with, people that work there who are really nice people working hard. They really just don't know what to do with this stuff. And I don't, it's the best way I could put it is, I mean, I was just talking to one today on the phone, a friend of mine who remained nameless, but who are in this environment. We all know people, and I know everybody's got family, everybody's got kids. People are trying to do their best. And I think that some of us are just, I don't know what the makeup is, but some of us see a movement like Comicsgate and say, I'm going to get behind this. I'm going to back these books. And I don't know how to describe what I felt when I mean, it was, Ethan is so easy to identify with because I think he's so real. But when I saw him and I saw Cyberfrog, I'm like, I want to back this because I believe in this project. I believe in the art, and I believe in the fact that all of us together can make this environment where artists are able to make their best work. Guys, I'm doing a comic book in gouache. All right. I mean, we are the antithesis of when we're doing this stuff. Oh, all Comicsgate books look the same. Who are you talking about? Narwhal's work looks the same as Ethan's work, looks the same as John's or Dan Frega's work.
Come on, no way.
Look at our work. It's all our work is different, and all of our work is really interesting. I mean, Jack the Ripper, I was looking at that book, Vampire Hunter or Killer, I forget which one it is. But I always get those confused because I'm a Blade guy, so I'm obsessed with Blade is living in my head rent free.
Hey, can I address something in the chat real quick?
Yeah, please.
Scottsley said, those cleavage shots were the reason Jim Lee sold so many copies of X-Men. That Rogue art got me through puberty, LMAO. It's funny about that. This is a bit of a long story. I'll try and make it as short as possible.
Yeah.
I love the heritage of art and comics, and you don't listen to what people say. You watch what they do, and here as the kids say, here are my receipts. In 2014 or so, I started. Let me open this up. Gabe L.T.'s Comic Kickoff Fundraiser. My wife did most of the work, and what we would do down at San Diego Comic-Con, the biggest, best convention in the world. There, my buddy. I coached his son and my son in Pop Warner football and high school football and all that. He had a pizza restaurant and a cool, sexy nightclub is what it would turn to at night, right by the San Diego Comic Convention Center. And he would let me use it for free. Preview night of San Diego Comic-Con. Me and my friends, like you'll see right here. Let me zoom in. Like I had me, Jim Calafiore, Colors John, Todd Knock, and that's who we had that year. And other years we had different people. And Carlos was always there. And I would make this. I made the wolf there. Remember the wolf I was showing? I love cool wolves. Carlos drew her. And every year we would pick a theme. This theme was like Street Fighter. So you pick your character. So I drew the Navajo, the Mojave Ghost, and a bunch of my friends. Again, the people at the bottom. But one year we did Halloween. So we each drew a Halloween character. One year we did fantasy. And you would come down to my friend's bar the night of preview night, just steps away from the convention center. You'd hang out with me, professional artists, all kinds of people were there, and we would do original sketches, and people would pay money, and all the money would go to the Hero Initiative. So that shows the proof that I care about this art form, that it's an American art form, and I understand that I didn't build it, that people built it for me, and the only way to honor that is to make sure that I pay it back. And I'll tell you this, I swear to God, this is true. I won't say his or her name because I wouldn't want to embarrass them. I talked to a veteran comic book artist last week about joining CG. They told me their bank account was 000 in September, and they got money from the Hero Initiative. And I was so happy, like, oh my God, you're the first person. I've been doing this like 7-8 years. You're the first person I talked to that told me they got money, because I know people have been getting money, but I never talked to one of them personally. This was our Mad Max team. But the reason I brought all this up about the Jim Lee boob comment, this is how you know that DC is fucked on this. And Jim Lee, I still consider him a friend, and he can be pissed off at this, but he said it to me, so I'm just going to say it. I sent this picture right here to every editor at DC and Jim Lee and everyone. I said, hey, can you guys retweet this and repost it? This year's theme was sexy beach athletics. You got a surfer girl, you got a tennis girl, a volleyball girl. And we each drew, I drew the jump rope girl. And like just my buddies that were at the party, we all drew a hot chick. And I sent it to everyone at DC, please retweet and all this. Jim Lee wrote me an email in front of all the editors. He replied all saying that they look like strippers and it was trashy and it was blah, 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 blah. And he wasn't going to retweet it. And I was just like, fuck you. You got millions of dollars making the damn X-Men swimsuit issue and all this shit. And it's that thing like you walk through the door of success and then you shut it behind you. Kiss my ass. It looks like strippers. You made a ton of money off of boobs. Get out of here. And by the way, in your face, this year we raised more money than we ever raised at that one. And that was the last one I did before COVID. So that
it's
really pissed me off that he
one of the
emailed
things
me and
about
put me on blast in front of everyone saying
Oh.
that they look like strippers and blah, blah. It's like the idea is they're supposed to be sexy. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the thing for me too, which is it's like what we can do with art and the range that we have with it and the way that we're able to impact people is my general attitude is that I think things should work from a success standpoint, and every thing has its difference of success. I'm gonna put a link in the private chat. I want to show you something that
Okay. I'll grab it.
is for me is one of those things I always think about when I'm working. And I'm gonna grab, if we can call it up, I'll see there. So there's a link right.
I just saw in the private chat that I'm muted.
Yeah, that's right. That was from the start. Yeah.
When I gave my preamble at the beginning of the show with my mic off.
It looked awesome though.
Oh, it was awesome.
Great.
I'm gonna just
So
zoom in on the chests of these women just to rub
There
it
you
in
go.
LCW's face. Take that. Gravity. These are gravity-defying women. Look at that. Norm Ratman, Philippe Briones.
Yeah.
I'm doing a Comicscape book with Philippe Briones. You got the great
Nice.
Todd Knock. Todd Knock is the nicest man in comics. You got Jeff Martinez, you got myself, and you got Jim Calafiore. All great guys.
Nice.
I'm very proud of the fundraiser, and I will do it again
Nice.
this summer. So,
That's terrific.
and we're gonna go bigger and sexier just to rub it in their faces.
There you go. Sometimes you gotta.
No, I'm really yeah. Someone says Jim Lee's fallen to the dark side. Dude, I know him personally. I have his cell phone number. He's the one who hired me. He gave me his baseball tickets to take my wife to the Padre game. He's been so nice to me, and I don't want to be mean to him, but that was so insulting to me. So insulting to tell me that in front of everyone. I'm sitting here going out of my fucking way. Like, I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
I don't make money off of this.
I always tell people, what's sort of funny is it's I saw this guy who makes swords. He makes historically accurate swords, and he did this Nova special he was on called Mystery of the Viking Sword. And one of the things about it that was so cool is he goes, I don't need to make a sword, or he goes, I don't need to make a sword because I have to do it. He goes, or I don't have to make a sword because I need to do it. I have to make a sword because I need to do it. I thought that was a really great way of putting it. And so I sent it. I don't know if that opened all right for you, but that's two.
Is this portrait here?
Yeah, the portraits, and then the next one.
I'll cover the boobs and put up the portrait.
That's a portrait of my wife, and then pause right on that one. If you click on it, it'll pause.
Let me figure out how to pause. I don't want to keep going without knowing how to pause it.
Okay.
Oh, the button that says pause in English, the language I understand.
Okay, so
the language that I understand. The very
so if you
language.
Click that arrow back, it'll take you to the next one, or to the one right before that. I think it's right on the top. If you roll over the image.
Rose and Nettle says, "For the girls, will there be sexy guys too?" I'm right here.
I know and by the way, I was going to say that's hard stuff to do. But if you click back one portrait on there, and it's a roll, right there. You see the arrows at the top. Click back. So that guy right there. So this was a painting that I did, that I painted and gave as a present to the parents of First Sergeant Andrew McKenna, who was killed in Afghanistan. And and one of the things about it is that we have different skill sets. That's me doing acrylic portraits, but the thing about it is that you can, to me, doing that painting was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I was really like, I wanted to make sure, because moms don't just look at your kids, they they inspect them. And so I knew I'm painting this woman's son who she's lost. Her other son died 10 years to the month earlier in a motorcycle accident. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, these people, and this kid, this man, I should say, gave the last full measure for our country.
Sure.
And his friends all talked about what a great guy was. So, and I'm going to grab this. Hang on 1 second here.
All right.
The people where I take my car to get work, they made a bunch of these. They commissioned a bunch of these shell casings in wooden boxes with his likeness on them, commemorative wood boxes, laser cut with him. And in every one of these, there's a bottle opener.
Let me make you big. Hold on.
Oh, sure, yeah. And in every one of these, there's a bottle opener that is if I can get this open, that is I don't want to drop this, is a shell that's got him on it.
Can you twist it to get the shine off? Oh, there it is.
Can you guys see that okay?
Wow.
And so I keep this line of sight right in front of my desk when I'm working every day, because it was a really touching thing. Like, she showed it to me and I didn't know she was giving it to me. So I was like, this is great. I handed it back and she was like, what are you doing? It was huge. And I always think about that. That's what we can do with art. Like there's nothing I can do for this family to, you know what I mean? Like to bring him back.
Or yes, I agree with you.
You know what I mean? And it's like, but I can do, like, he was in our living room as I was working on him for months. You know, we spent time with him in our house, and that's the stuff, you know what I mean? Like, that's the stuff that we all do. And, you know, I kind of, that's the approach I took to teaching. And I know there's a lot of great teachers out there at every level who are trying to navigate this stuff. And there's a lot of people who, you know, who struggle with this stuff. But I got to the point to where, as we've talked about, we work so hard to get our skills to the level that we get them to. Right. And then we have a certain amount of time. Like, how many, you know, pieces of Dave Stevens artwork did we get from the Rocketeer? Right. Like, how many issues of, you know, Steranko or any of these artists or masters doing work are we going to get? You know, and it's like, it's an incredible thing. I'm like, we need to make sure these people have the resources. To me, one of the most fortuitous things in the world was Ethan's time that he spent at DC Comics kind of brought that amazing cosmic creativity he brought to Green Lantern, then fed right back into Cyberfrog, and it evolved it to the point to where it's this incredible new thing. And I want to make sure that we get to see as much Cyberfrog by Ethan Van Sciver as we possibly can.
Yeah, because I think that's going to take a long time. Just kidding. Ethan.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, you know, the same thing goes with John Malin. Godlike. I'm psyched about that book.
Right. Yeah, Malin has that Liefeld energy, and I'm pretty sure he worked for Liefeld or something, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, he has that Liefeld energy, you know. So, yeah, it's just amazing. I think it's. Oh, we went up. Did we go up some more? 12.
Oh, Lloyd Burns in the chat. Good to see you. Look at all these guys. All right, let's see.
The best. I just.
Oh my gosh! Look at you guys. You guys are crushing it.
Over
Holy
and over.
Cow.
And I want to say this again. I've said this like 10 times on different streams, but I want to say this again. My buddy Philippe Briones, he drew the pretty tennis girl in that thing that I had up there. And we were coming up with our book, Oath of Blood, Oath of Bone. It's awesome. It's futuristic. It's martial arts. It's chimeras, half human, half all the stuff. And we were just very vague concepts. So what's it about? And do you like martial arts? Do you like cyberpunk? And he asked me, well, and then we decided they have powers, these people, you know, maybe transhumanism, like they're cyborgs or something. And he said, well, what are the powers? And I said this small phrase to him, and the Comicsgate fans gave this to me. What do you like to draw? Yeah. And I said it, and I was like, oh my God, I'm free. The greatest gift in the world. I could be a 5-year-old drawing Star Wars. You talked about pulling out printer paper. I'm telling you, I think my dad had a kid in Texas, and you're a half brother of mine.
Absolutely right.
I was pulling out butcher paper in my grandparents' restaurant from age 3, drawing Star Wars space battles. And Comicsgate fans have given me that freedom again. You asked my wife, Adrian, she's in the chat. I've seen her, Mad Moxie. She was trying to super chat me. I told her, don't super chat me. We lose half the money.
That's right.
YouTube will keep half. You could just come in my office and talk to me. But it's like they gave me back my freedom. I'm just a kid making art again, like artistically. Obviously, I'm a grown man, but it's such a beautiful thing they've given me and given you. And there's a level of trust, and we have to earn it. And I think you are. I think when we step out and you leave almost 2 decades, so you have a steady job at RISD. You could have just stayed there for the next 20 years and then just died and be forgotten. And I could have just stayed. They loved me at DC. I was a fireman. And what I mean by that is I just put out every fire. I'd deadline. Any project that was late, they could call me. I would eat shit for them and whatever. And I worked on, the stuff I worked on, 2 Eisners, 2 of the things I worked on. And I didn't like the SJW stuff I did, but I was compromising my values to get a paycheck. I could have stayed there. I'm 43. I could have stayed there until I was 60 and just retired and not done the work of my life. But I stepped out, told them to F off, told them to quit talking shit to our fans, quit letting these SJW writers. You know, I noticed it's mostly the writers talk shit to our fans and call them racist, bigot, homophobe, blah, blah. It's just so tiresome. And I took a chance for these fans, and they've rewarded me. And it's just so heartwarming to be back. And
there's a question in the chat, but I have to just respond to that. So you're 20 years older than John Malin. That's amazing. I mean, you know, the guy, John's always talking about being in his 20s. And I mentioned the other day, I said, so you were a child groom, and he cracked up. But the thing about it is, I was just reading the chat, talking of the Rocketeer. What do you think of 1930s Art Deco drawing style? So yeah, let me say this, guys. One of the things I love about Phil Diaz's books and the stuff that we were talking about is that love of the early 1900s work. I love Art Deco stuff. I love old movie theaters. I love 1930s movies. If you could have seen my college dorm room, when I was there, you would have seen all. And by the way, if you did, anyway, I hope you had a great time. But if you if you could have seen my college dorm room when I was in school, I had William Powell, Jean Harlow, Humphrey Bogart, James Cagney, Norma Shearer, black and white George Harrell photographs, with my Todd McFarlane artwork on the wall, with my Dave Stevens Rocketeer. And my dream in life, when I met Dave Stevens, I did a lot of brush work and brush inking stuff on my work at various points. I mean, if I could have been Todd McFarlane, I would have been Todd McFarlane in a second. If I could have been Dave Stevens in my youth, I would have been Dave Stevens in a second. And one of the things that's crazy about getting to this age is you finally get too tired to not go to the destiny you're supposed to have, which is making your own work.
Right.
And now guys, it is such a blessing, but people are excited. They know my stuff and they know my influences. They can see them. They're there.
Right.
But they see my stuff and they go, oh, that's Shanth. So that means in Comicsgate, when I get a chance to do something to, like a painting of one of Phil's characters, or
here's Phil's character. Who is
this?
This
exactly,
is
right?
Phil's,
Or I can't show it yet. Sorry, but I did a Cyberfrog piece. Thank God I didn't grab that. I did a Cyberfrog piece that I think might be a trading card coming up, and then I did a piece in Malin's Visions book for Graveyard Shift. That's in the back in the fan section there. And
you're gonna do a beef law piece.
Oh, I think it's gonna have to happen. I think that's a moral imperative at this point.
Now hold on. I have to screen you here though. Can you draw or can you paint jump kicks?
Yeah, I can.
I'm
Absolutely.
joking. I like when non-artists ask you if you could draw a certain thing. It's like it's all cubes and spheres and cones. Like,
no, but you know what though?
Can you draw horses? I would say. It's like, yes, I could draw a horse. Yes.
We all know people though. Like let's be real though. Is that I can illustrate almost anything, but can I do a jump kick like Michael Golden? No. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like those people who, like, there are certain artists I see who, when they do action, it is incredible. Like people with amazing fight. But yeah, I love that stuff.
You know who I found does? You know who I found does the best action? Because as a colorist, the unique view I have is in comics that no one else has.
Yeah,
is I work with the most people because I'm still an artist. You know what I mean? I'm still doing the illustration. But I can do 4 or 5 books a month. If I'm rushing, illustrators, they can do 1 maybe in a month. So I'll be working with 5 illustrators, maybe 10 if there's inkers and all that. And I learn all kinds of people's styles and their isms, all their little things. Yeah. And the thing I found working with hundreds of illustrators coloring their work, the best illustrators I've found in comics are animators. David Williams, I'm working with him on Bass Reeves and maybe something else. Philippe Briones, I'm doing Oath of Blood with him. He was an animator at Disney when he was like 23.
Wow.
And then John Timms, I don't know his animation background, but I could smell it when we were doing Superman like this. And he said something to me at Comic-Con. We were autographing Superman at the DC booth. And he said something about animation. I don't remember what, but I'm pretty sure he knows animation very well. And it just comes through in their work, these animators.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of comic book artists would be well served to take a semester or a year of just animation classes in their spare time.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking about doing it because I talked to Dave Williams about it. He told me, yes, do it.
Yeah, there's some great mentors out there too for that kind of stuff. But I love action stuff. And I also love, when someone gives you a time period, like when someone says this is a period piece, which we can now do set in like the kind of 90s stylistic. So my story is a period piece, but it's a period piece as envisioned by the 1970s exploitation Hammer horror films.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not like a period piece. It's a 1970s. Now I was born in 76, so I didn't watch or live through any of that culture, but I went back, and the sense of fun and play in Hammer horror films and the color and the cinematography.
It felt like a child's Halloween.
You got it. That's so
Halloween
here's the
one
best
of my favorite
description.
things. One of the first things I ever remember drawing. I must have been 4 years old. I was in the living room and I showed my dad this big piece of like cardboard construction paper, and I drew a grave, like a gravestone, and a skeleton that had a gun, and he had shot and killed like a Frankenstein. And my parents always encouraged me with art. They told me to be a comic book artist. They didn't tell me no.
That's awesome.
School. But he said, "Why don't you draw something nicer?" I remember him telling me that because there was a skeleton. Why did the skeleton have a gun?
Well, I mean, And that's like sort of the fun, fun thing about it. When we talk about this stuff, the best description I ever gave of my work, which just accidentally sort of came out, I said, when I'm painting the page, it's like I'm using paint to decorate a piece of paper for Halloween.
Mhm.
That's how
Right.
I sort of feel like it's that fun sense of play. And I make sure I'm not showing anything I'm not supposed to. But this is a page.
Let me get you up here.
Oh, there we go. Cool.
Do we got to censor it? Okay.
No. You don't have to censor this one. But here we go. Let's see if I can move this the right direction.
Just
so
look
speaking
at that.
of
Look at
tombstones,
that. That's a storytelling piece. That's like it tells me a story just looking at it,
and it's just that's the
Back it up
the
a
joy.
little. Back it up a little because you're cutting off the edges.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, let me move this back. There we go.
Up. The big monster's not in frame.
Oh yeah, it's
there you go. There you go.
This is the double pager, and I'm gonna make sure I'm not showing anything that is gonna get your stream.
Okay.
affected.
No booty cheeks, or else Jim
That's exactly right.
Or else
But
Jim
this
Lee will
is
tell
the
on
kind
me.
of it's a double page storytelling page, so it's got like panels that are gonna go all the way across.
Gorgeous.
But this is the stuff that we get to do now.
Because of
it's
the fans. These are the greatest fans in the world. They really are.
They're awesome.
And they're
you guys,
smart and they're kind. And of course they have good taste because they like me.
Absolutely right. Well said. Yeah, well said.
Very cool. So NOSFERO, people are backing it. That's nice. We've raised more money. That's awesome. And again, you guys, you're changing his life here. Do you have anything else you want to say about art and all this? Or do you want to talk a little Van Damme, or have you had enough tonight? And I'll say this. I'm just gonna throw this out there. Might be stupid. Oh, I need to come back on the screen. I'm just the disembodied voice here. I'll say this. Shanth, we should do a show once a week.
Yeah, we should. We should definitely do. We got to do a Van Damme show at the very least.
Shanth and Gabe, or Gabe and Shanth, or something, or we could call it Double Impact with Shanth and Gabe.
We should absolutely call it that. Well,
let's do that. Let's do it.
I think you don't have any idea. Me with a microphone in front of me, riffing on voiceovers, trying to come up with what I was going to do with your name.
Did you do the voice for the trailer?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. My wife's like, did you hire someone? Did you do?
No, I'm the cheapest. I'm the cheapest person. Like when I did the video for the crack pack, it was like I was doing the yo don't even smoke crack.
Hey,
I was doing all the voice stuff for that. So yeah.
Yeah, Aldous on the Farm, just off Orwell Lane. That's a long screen name. Says, "Hell yes, Gabe and Chef." Yeah, I think we should call it Double Impact.
Absolutely,
we're brothers from another mother. We are very simpatico. I love your whole thing, man. Let me show that little trailer you made for me again. For those that haven't seen it, because I'm so proud of you. This is such a great piece of art here. For those of you out there on Comicsgate Kings, when Ethan brings us onto the show, he plays a little clip, and everyone knows I'm the Van Damme, Steven Seagal, Sylvester Stallone fan. So here's my clip when I come on the air.
Triple the electricity. Triple the elegance. Triple tight.
Would never in my life wear black silk underwear. I'm with you on that one.
Triple threat.
Oh my gosh. That was Grant Stinchfield on Newsmax. I'm going to go back on the show. He told me if there's more like SJW comic news or pop culture news, I can come on and do segments. So I'm going to keep doing that and preaching the message of CG to the world. I talked to him on the phone yesterday. He's a really nice guy. He seems to like me, and I like him. But I showed him your little clip, and he thought it was hilarious.
Well, what's the thing about it is, guys, is that it's like it's so hard. Like I was talking with my wife about this the other day. It's so hard for people to find places where there's not going to be politics in their art, in their pop culture. Right. It sucks. It's like that. It's the enemy of fun, which is why one of the things I've been thinking about on our the streams I'm doing and the painting streams is I think about people. I think about Bob Ross a lot, and I think about how people like talking and making artwork, how desperate people are for beauty. And I was at the post office not long ago, and there was a woman in the line in front of me, and she goes, he goes, "I'm sorry, we're all out of American flag stamps right now, but we do have these bonus stamps you can buy. They have a secret message in them." And she goes, and I've never seen anything like this. She goes, "Is the secret message positive?" And the guy is looking at her going, "We're the U.S. Postal Service. Like, what do you think it says? Your life is a lie? Like when you hold it up to the light?" And she goes, "I just don't think I can take one more negative thing in my life." And I swear, like when you guys are coming in here, when people are tuning into the Jack Show, when people are seeing Anna's painting streams or Ethan's drawing streams, or my favorite stream of all time, going to Walmart to get pie, Into the Pie Barons was my first video I made for Ethan.
Right.
Those streams, like when I can laugh so hard I have to turn off the show,
right,
my life is good. And I want you guys to have whatever those of you guys who are backing the book, those of you guys who plan on backing the book, or maybe waiting for a paycheck to come in, guys, the whole point of this is I want you guys to be having fun and having a great night, a great day, connecting with the movies you love, the people you love, and the things you love. Don't let yourself get sucked into all this negativity. What Comicsgate is and what I love about us is, yes, we have to be mindful and aware of what we are not about. Yes, we do have to make sure that we know who we are, but we're so much about what we are about, not what we aren't about. And I think Michael Bancroft had that great line, don't hate, create. That's what we do here.
Indeed. And it's true because it rhymes.
I know, exactly right. I think it was Abe Lincoln who said that, according to a meme I saw, right?
Right. No, you're right. I think the space for laughing and positivity and none of this school marm, scold, and again, I want fans that are left wing and Democrat and all that. Just it's the little SJW thing where you're trying to muzzle everyone, cancel everyone, all like that. We won't tolerate. But anything else, we welcome it, man. Whatever.
Yeah, we just want people who love comics. I was looking at
fun. That's all. Like, okay, is Van Damme fine acting in cinema? No, but it's fun as hell. It's so much fun. I've seen Double Impact, Kickboxer, Bloodsport 40,000 times with my best childhood friend. He's still my best friend. In fourth grade, we had a new student. It was his first day in class, and the teacher said, "Does anyone ride bus 15? Because Merlin needs someone to show him the bus." So me and Becky Schultz raised our hands, and I won out because I guess we're both boys. So he could have been Becky Schultz's best friend. I guess they'd be married by now. And you know me, I'm like you, Shanth. I talk, just like I met my match here. You talk a lot like me. And I followed him home. What are you going to order from the book order thing? Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, what the hell is this guy doing at my house? He told me years later. And we became best friends. We lived 5 doors down from each other. And we watched, and starting in middle school, we'd watch a Van Damme movie every Friday or Saturday night.
Yep.
And we watch him now. He's a day older than me, literally 1 day older. So we celebrate our birthdays at the same time in July. And last year for my birthday, he came over and we watched Bloodsport together or Kickboxer. Awesome. And the whole time we're just looking at each other. We're saying all the lines together. And that's what the kind of comic Shanth is making for you and I'm going to make for you. It's just fun. It's action. It's joy. It's beauty. No negativity, no scolding you, no telling you you're the problem with the world or what. I feel like now, like in DC and Marvel, the hero turns to Batman turns to the camera and says, "You're the problem, you straight white male," or whatever.
What's so funny about it is
the hero shouldn't hate the customers.
Is you look at stuff like you look at what Walt Disney did, but you even look at what Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird did. All these creators, all you need to do comics. I can do a wide shot with an elaborate set if I have the skill. I don't need any more money. I just need to be able to afford enough paint and brushes. That's all it's about.
Just give
it's funny. I'm looking at these guys, Scottsley and KSSS with the post office message was from 55th Street. I was watching that stream that almost put me in the hospital. I don't know. I feel like, Comicsgate, I think it does hate my rib cage because I have almost broken ribs laughing at some of this stuff.
Right. Some of the
that
stuff
I see on streams,
Insane.
And I'm putting on weight because of the pie.
How'd you do on Thanksgiving? I'm back on keto today. I do lift weights 4 times. I'm strong as an ox. I have fat on me right there on the dad part, that belly. Otherwise, I'm not fat though.
I'm in intermittent fasting mode again,
This is very interesting for people to listen to our diets and all that.
I'll tell you this: my blood type is gravy. I mean, Jesus, I'm telling you, I got a problem.
We won't do diet and exercise talk because I just realized that's very annoying. I will say, I did eat a whole blueberry pie between Thursday and Sunday night. I ate the whole thing pretty much myself.
No apple? That's all I'm going to respond to that. I had apple blueberry in a 48-hour period. You just kind of I'll tell you this. I don't know if you've ever seen, a possum, in a trash can. And I look at them and I whenever I see them, I gotta be honest, I think I feel you.
Looks like he's having fun.
No, I know. I'm like, I feel you. That's going to be me in 2 hours. I'm going to be like, where's the rest of that pie?
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Antonio Ruschio, I think. Ruschio. Sorry if I got it wrong. Backer 183. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh.
We're moving, guys.
Don't look till I put it on the screen here. Let's let's get it up on the screen.
See.
How do I do? Oh, I have to.
Don't ask me. I can't even figure out how to have something on my screen.
Boomer alert. What am I doing? Oh, I have to add it to the stream. Gosh damn it. Here we are. Look at.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Look at this,
12,365.
guys.
You guys in the chat
You guys
are
are amazing.
I'm never going
Yeah.
to let you down, guys. I stood up to DC for you. I wrote them. I can't tell you what I wrote, but they were nasty emails going back and forth with the editor-in-chief. And I can paraphrase. I told them to quit fucking calling our fans bigots because you're killing the sales. I told Jim Lee that. I told Marie Javens. I told the bosses. I told them off in a series of emails. And
it's so funny because we look at this stuff. We were saying about diet talk, but I'm telling you, man, I started thinking like my wife came down when I was watching one of the streams, and Cecil was talking about his diet, and everybody's like going, "Man, you're getting yoked. Look at you. You're losing weight." And I go, and she goes, "So is this like it's kind of like a comics and then like health thing?" And I go, "Sorta. It's turning into that,
right?
Because we look at each other. This is the thing. This job." What you guys are paying me for when I'm doing these books, and I am very grateful for it. We all know this stuff is sitting at this desk and working crazy hours. Gabe knows it. I know
you sit?
Yeah, I do sit.
I stand. I stand. I've been standing for 3-4 years.
And I'm going to tell you, I learned how to draw on my lap, so I still try to tip the paper into my lap, even when I'm at a desk. But this is the crazy thing about it. We also know that we got to be doing things like and all of us need to be doing this, by the way, getting up and going for walks and taking care of ourselves, because that's part of enjoying ourselves and doing this work. But when you come home and you sit down, you crack open a CG book, or when you walk to your front door and there's some amazing, awesome package from a CG creator that you get to go through and see the stickers and the postcards and the posters and all the cool stuff, or the original artwork that one of us has created specifically for you, if it's a head sketch or a watercolor sketch. I want you to be smiling ear to ear and being like, I'm in a situation that's good for me. This artwork is good for me. It's inspiring. And the people here are all people who are who are motivated and want to get things done that are positive. And that's really what it's about.
Yeah. Gravity Cat sums up a lot of what we've been saying. A caged bird is a terrible waste.
Amen.
Yeah, I think that about fish and birds. And if you have a fish or a bird, I'm not trying to insult you, but I always feel sorry for them when I see them in those little tanks or those little cages, So I don't know. It's like the damn bird wants to fly. I don't know.
And I got to say this too, is that we should totally schedule a stream for next week. And okay. I mean, because it's like, we'll do it. We can do all this stuff on Twitter to get deep dive into Van Damme, but it's like, I have to tell you, it has been really, I don't know how to really describe this, but we're talking about, the caged bird thing and all that sort of stuff. I love comics. I love art. For me, the reason I loved working in art school and working with the students who really wanted to be there all those years was because I was looking for those people I could talk art and story and fiction and fantasy with. And for me, that's what the comic shop was for me. And my comic book store owner, Wade Sane, who was terrific with me, he'd put aside copies of like obscure, like the comics I like Grips by Tim Vigil and all that stuff.
Sure.
And he would sort of, he would put me out there and put the books aside for me and say, here's the comics, take as much time as you want. I've been missing that kind of talking about Van Damme movies, horror movies, gangster movies, all of that stuff. I realized it's like the oxygen was slowly being turned down. And I didn't realize how much I missed it till I found Comicsgate. Like people go, what is that movie? You watch a stream and someone goes, what was that movie where, and, or else you'll show a poster and I'll go, and I'll go, oh, is that, that's a Hard to Kill. And someone in the chat is going, that's above the law.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And that's the best part of this.
Right. Absolutely.
Man, sitting is the new smoking. Let me tell you.
I do have a chat. I thought that was a very funny comment. You said, KS says, I saw a commercial saying sitting is the new smoking. I crushed out my cigarette and sat down. I didn't feel cooler looking.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, you don't.
I thought that was
smoking
funny.
Is the new smoking.
Yeah. So I think we're going to wrap soon here. My wife made me some, we have leftover turkey. So I'm having it with like enchilada sauce on. I'm going carb free.
Man after my own heart.
And, but okay, Shanth, maybe we'll start doing these once a week. Maybe Wednesdays, maybe something. We'll figure it out. Yeah. We'll talk on Twitter. People seem to like it. We get along real well. We're going to do it next week. And here's what we're going to do. You're going to defend your top 3 or 5, we'll decide, Van Damme movies. And we're going to debate. We're going to make a definitive list of what the best 3 or 5 Van Damme movies are.
Hey, I'm ready to do it.
And then we're going to talk art and all the fun stuff too. It won't just be Van Damme, but it'll mostly be Van Damme.
It should mostly be Van Damme because I think people need some Van Damme in their lives right now. All the other noise
crazy he is in real life too. If you follow him on Instagram, he just posts the weirdest shit and it's hilarious. He
Well,
said
his workout videos on
he was
YouTube
like,
for getting right.
Happy
You know,
Thanksgiving. He was like this on Thanksgiving. You look it up on Instagram. He's like, Happy Thanksgiving
the ones where he's
to my
kicking all the
American
people.
friends. He like did this weird pause and this gesticulation, and I love him because I think he's nuts.
Yeah,
So
bless him.
yeah, he's very entertaining. So yeah, I think people are in the chat are saying a weekly stream might be good. So, oh man, we could have an intro video that you could do for Double Impact with me and you. Hey, I don't know how to do after what program to use for.
Oh,
all
I'm
that?
just using iMovie Photoshop, but I got to tell you what, my next video I've got to do is one of your mentors, as you know, Mike Barron. It's got to be the next one I got to do. So that's going to be on my focus when I'm not doing.
Mike Barron is one of my oldest best friends in comics. He got me into comics. He had me illustrate The Detonator issue 4.
Yep.
They were Punisher scripts that he had because he wrote the Punisher.
Yeah,
that was for Image Comics like in 2003 or 4. And Mike Barron is the more you get to know him, that dude is hilarious. Yeah. Like he is so freaking funny. It's awesome. So
yeah, I mean, it's guys, that's the thing, right? I always tell my wife this. I go, I've had so many people. Like, one of the reasons why I've always think about first Sergeant Andrew McKenna is and all the people in my life, my father-in-law, my moments with Todd McFarlane. There have been so many good people in our lives that have brought good things into us. Anytime, we spend talking about them is always better spent than the people on the other, end of the spectrum who were negative influences. You know what I mean? And when you talked about Mike Barron, it was really moving to hear you talk about like how long you guys have known each other and seeing the care and compassion.
I'm not trying to embarrass Mike here, but there's a thing that's happening between me and him right now, and he doesn't know. The artist for Thin Blue Line, I don't know that guy. And Mike says, you know him, you guys come to my house. And it's like, I wasn't in that. Mike's house is like the place for the Colorado artists to go. Yeah. But I'm like the class of 2008. Like I went from his house from 2004 to 8, but I moved away because I got hired by Wildstorm. So I moved out here to San Diego. And Mike thinks I was, he's got a lot of people coming and going from his house. So he thinks I know that guy. And I don't have the heart to tell Mike, oh, I don't know him. Because I asked Mike, I interviewed Mike last week. I said, so how did you meet the artist for this book? He's like, Gabe, you know him. And I was like, yeah, so he's a cop, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like this, right? Everything that happened in the past, I'll be like, the other day, and my wife goes, that was a month ago, or that was last year. You know, it's like time gets compressed. Yeah. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming in and back in the book. And I'm going to be
awesome.
When you go have your food, I'm going to be going up talking to my wife, and we're going to be celebrating what an
amazing... we're doing it. I mean, the fans are doing it for us, right? I mean,
you guys are awesome.
What was I didn't even check the number, and I hit refresh, but it says 12,365. I think we jumped up again, or no?
We jumped up to 174 backers, guys. We're just cruising right now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so before we go, chat. Thank my guest here, Shanth, for coming on. It was amazing. We'll do our show Double Impact. We'll see how it goes. Maybe Wednesdays might be a good night for us to do it. Yeah. Because I lift weights on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So my schedule's always tight of those 4 days. So Wednesday, I don't lift weights because I lift weights for like an hour and a half on those 4 days. So I have a big lunch break where I go for a walk, I eat lunch, I lift weights. So Wednesday works for me to do a show like this. But I want everyone in the chat, if you could, hit the thumbs up. Maybe leave a comment or something, and then tweet this out. Share this, because this is gorgeous art. This is a great book worth funding. And tune in for Comicsgate Kings Monday. I'm going to have some more artwork from Beef Law, because I'm inking the page 2-3 spread. I'm going to start inking it tomorrow. So you're going to be able to see some progress there. So, okay, thank you for coming in, Shanth. I'm going to end the stream now. And
all right,
thank you, chat, for everything. All right, bye.
Thank you, guys.